Board members, if you would please log in your attendance one more time, please. Thank you. I'd like to call this meeting to order and welcome everyone this evening to the March 18th, 2013 meeting of the Williamson County Board of Education. Before we get started, if you would please silence or turn off your cell phones. I'd like to thank Dominic Calvani and Officer Stephen Jaluski, deputies that are here this evening providing our security. We appreciate your presence. The first item on the agenda is the pledge. If you would please stand and join Board Member Janice Mills for the pledge, and please remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. And before we do that this evening, board members, you have at your place a replacement page for page 19, which is field trips. There is also a replacement page for page 59, which is the recommendation for open zone schools for 2013-14. Before we place that page in your packet, I would like to change the language that's on that first line. And that line should read, Page High School from any Williamson County school up to 25 students. Yes, sir. 25 students. Are there any other corrections before we move forward with the approval? Would someone like to make a motion to approve the agenda? Motion from Ms. Mills. Second from Mr. Mesra. All in favor, signify by aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. As part of that approval, we approved on the consent agenda the minutes from the February 18th, 2013 and March 2nd, 2013 board meetings. We approved the field trip fee recommendations. We approved the First to the Top Rewards School Ambassador Program plan and budget, and the voluntary employee payroll deduction. The next item on the agenda is public comment. We have a number of individuals who have signed up this evening to address the board. When I call your name, if you would please step to the podium and give us your name and address. Mr. Anderson, who sits to my right, is our timekeeper. Individuals have 1.5 minutes to address the board. And he has some cue cards to keep you on task and a timer that will sound when your time is up. I'd like to remind citizens this is not an open forum for personal attacks during public comment. So with that being said, our first individual is Audrey Buffington.
Madam Chairperson, board members, Dr. Looney, good evening. I'm Audrey Buffington, 430 Lena Lane, Franklin, a lifelong math educator. I truly believe that every problem in the world can be solved through good education. This evening, I would like to address standardized testing. Since I can remember, in 1952, the Iowa Test of Basic Skills was given. Since then, we've added state, national, and international tests And what have we learned from all of this? Well, simply that students are doing no better. We're still 21st out of 22 countries, or 17th out of 50 states, or 3rd out of 20 counties, or whatever. Even after yearly spending millions of dollars and relinquishing our power from local control right up the ladder to the federal government. My comments on the Common Core state standards and the subsequent PARCC tests will have to be addressed at another time, but please do request a fiscal impact statement. I'm concerned about state tests which contain open-ended questions requiring human scoring. This means that the scoring will be subjective and open to human error. And think how many hours it takes and how much money it costs. Another concern is that each problem has to be solved by a student drawing a picture. There are over 20 problem-solving strategies, and we're telling fifth graders, for example, that they have to draw pictures? And how have these tests helped Tennessee improve its teaching of math? And then there are the county tests, which I hope are written by expert item writers. These tests are not valid if these items have no correct answer, for example, or if some of them are mathematically or grammatically incorrect. Don't forget the time spent in teaching the students how to take the tests and the stress on students and teachers. Reports, if any, given to parents have very little meaning. The best tests are those given by the teachers so that there can be immediate follow-up and reteaching as needed. Thank you very much. I'm pleased to be with you to answer any questions now or later. I'll meet with any or all of you at any time to answer any of the questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, Christy Brown.
Hi, I'm Christy Brown, 6109 Bryan Place in Brentwood. Last week, Williamson County Linked Parents of Gifted Students gave the school board a tongue-in-cheek gift box filled with Smarties and Nerds. However, we'd like to point out that few of the intellectually gifted children actually fit in that box, and it's not always sweet to be gifted. For example, many gifted children have other disabilities, such as dyslexia, autism, processing disorders, and that may not be recognized because of their giftedness. Also, about twice as many gifted children have social or emotional problems as the general population. And all gifted children do not perform well in school. In fact, there's an 18 to 25% dropout rate, including two famous gifted dropouts, Thomas Edison and Albert Einstein, who were considered by their teachers to be addled or difficult. At our group's first meeting a little over a year ago, parents were overwhelmingly confused, frustrated, and even angry about the state of gifted education in Williamson County. Now, as an organized group, we are committed to improving services for all gifted children. We believe that gifted teachers do not have enough time to meet the needs of their students, and there are huge differences in what services are available from school to school. The administration has recognized our concerns and asked for funding to meet the needs of intellectually gifted students, to provide equity in gifted services across the county, and to address growth that has been unaddressed for several years. We thank you in advance for your support so that Williamson County's future Einsteins and Edisons may one day become proud graduates of our public schools.
Thank you. Next, Stuart Moore.
Good afternoon, board members. My name is Stuart Moore. I live at 7716 Caney Fork in District 1, Fairview, Tennessee. I'm here to express my concern about pesticides and herbicides that are applied to the grounds of our schools in the county. These are toxins, and they are harmful to the environment and to our children. My daughter went to Pinewood Elementary School from K through 5th grade. She had been there 3 or 4 years, and all of a sudden they started locking the doors. Why? To protect our children, the staff, and the faculty, and anybody that came and went. That was the right thing to do as a culture and as a society. Why would we not protect our children and faculty and staff and friends and parents and families on the outside of the building as well? I have studied the effects of glyphosates on the environment, on mammals and amphibians. This is not a good chemical which is found predominantly in Roundup, and I think we should ban it and go from the chemicals and toxins that we're using presently to natural ways to deal with the environment around our schools. We must protect our children in all ways. This is a win-win for the county, and here's why. It's progressive, it shows leadership, and when people think, where do I want to go to school, where do I want my children to go to school, and where do I want to live, it's a win-win. It's a win for the health of our children, for people that are coming here, for the county and the school system. They say, that's a safe environment for my children. That's where I want them to go. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next, Daniela Kuntz.
I'm Daniela Kuntz, and I live at 132 Cavalry Drive, Franklin, Tennessee. I'm here to correct the record regarding the statements made by Mr. Squires and Mr. Samuels during the previous school board meeting. Mr. Squires' school attorney stated that Williamson County Schools had provided me with all the open records requested by me. This is inaccurate, and I refute the statement. Documentation what has been still missing on that day and how things were handled has just been given to you. Furthermore, the statement of Mr. Samuels, Director of Maintenance Department of Williamson County Schools, in which he said that Williamson County Schools are compliant with EPA regulations, has nothing to do with what we are asking of you. EPA does not inspect if chemicals or other contract works are being performed as per the recommendations of the manufacturer's products in use, nor does the health department. For 4 years, we have asked the school district to protect our children and to take responsibility to correct and monitor that the chemicals will be applied in the right way and not to expose our children to these substances. Our children are under your care while they attend classes, and we parents demand common sense safety guidelines which shield them from damaging substances of chemicals or other such dangers when contractors, employees, and volunteers go about their work or projects in schools. The product of which misapplications we made you aware of is still being applied in the wrong way, a violation of federal law. This raises the question of how many other chemicals are not being applied in the right way in other schools too. Who monitors that and who looks out for all the students? We want you to put these safety concerns onto your agenda, during which discussion parents will be allowed to take part so that you will correct these safety issues district-wide. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Carol Roos.
Good evening. I'm Carol Roos. I currently reside at 1108 Brandon Drive in Franklin. Following the label instructions of a chemical product is not only a legal requirement, but a very common sense thing to do. But this is not what has been happening at Oakview School, where for years children have been endangered by a chemical product negligently applied in violation of federal law. That this could occur and continue so long suggests indifference may pervade our school system about the health hazards that chemicals and other contaminants pose for children. Elected members, what has happened at Oakview is your wake-up call. What you will do or fail to do about it is very important. Obviously, it will be important to all students, as it may affect how many of them will be cut down early in their lives by cancer that results from them having attended school here. Secondly, it may be important to you personally, as you will soon be deemed the root cause of it all if you do not immediately bring a halt to all such ongoing exposures. Explain to the community how your employees were able to continue Oakview exposures for at least 4 years, despite being informed of the violations and having a parent repeatedly ask for them to be halted. And finally, if you did not implement sufficient change to prevent other Oakviews from happening, including active monitoring of chemical and other contaminant exposures, proactive chemical threat management to reduce exposures, and ongoing public reporting of the same. Thank you.
Thank you. Jacob Valderrama.
Okay. My concern is that.
Jacob, can you tell us your address, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. Jacob Balderrama, 5311 Leapers Creek Road. And my concern is that at my school now, I just finished the PE special class, and that was the only outlet that I had each day for physical education. And now I'm in the art class and I don't have PE, and the only time I have physical education is, well, actually it's not even physical education, I just go outside, is on Friday for a brief 30 minutes, and when to and fro the bus stop is about 30 feet outside of school. And and it's very annoying that I can't even be outside and get fresh air or anything like that, and I'm stuck inside except for brief periods on Fridays and in the morning and at the end of school. That's it.
Thank you. Next, Amy Valderrama.
I'm Amy Balderrama. I'm in Franklin, Tennessee on Leapers Creek Road with Jacob. And I wanted to address some of the strategies and goals under finance in exemplifying that the business case for an environmentally sound cleaning program has been made. For instance, Palm Beach School District in Florida has projected annual savings of $360,000 for a district-wide program. Northern Tioga County in Pennsylvania saved $20,000 in 1 year by eliminating aerosols and hazardous cleaning products. Harvard University Medical School reported saving over $11,000 a year by reducing the number of products they used. Gainesville, Georgia had a school that reported $280,000 annual savings by reducing the number of products they use. Effective green cleaning and indoor air quality programs have been shown to reduce absenteeism, which saves the school districts money. US EPA cites increased average daily attendance as a primary benefit to schools with superior indoor air quality. Syracuse, New York schools documented 11.7 increase in attendance in 1 year, resulting in additional state funding of over $2.5 million. Lockport, Illinois High School reported a 3% increase in average daily attendance. Charles Young Elementary School in Washington, D.C. reported attendance increase from 89% to 93% in 1 year. Furthermore, according to the EPA, children miss more than 14 million school days each year due to asthma exacerbated by poor indoor air quality. Thank you.
Thank you. Trent Johnson.
Good evening. My name is Trent Johnson. I live at 2271 Winder Circle in Franklin, Tennessee. And I'm here to address you again tonight about a concern I brought up back in, I think, November. It's a special request to allow those students who are zoned Page Middle School that march with the Page High Marching Band, but are then zoned for Centennial High School. I asked for a special zoning that would allow those students to continue on at Page High School as long as they remain part of the Page High Marching Band. Hopefully you're opening zoning. Hopefully my son can be one of those 25 in there tonight, but there's only four students that would be affected by this. And Page High School, of the 4 high schools in the county that allow 8th graders to march, they're the only ones without a clean feeder pattern. So once again, I hope that you will continue to take this special request to allow those 8th graders that march with the Page High Band as 8th graders to allow them to stay at Page High, even though they may be zoned for one of the other high schools. Thank you.
Thank you. Claudia Henneberry.
Good evening, and thank you very much for allowing me to speak. Board members, Chairman, Dr. Looney. I'm a parent of a graduate of Brentwood High School. She's now a junior in college. I am also a parent of a present sophomore at Franklin High School. As a parent of these kids, and as you folks know, because you serve the future of our country by helping these children who are in our schools in Williamson County, and I'm afraid that our children's education is under attack by Common Core standards that unfortunately Tennessee has accepted in stimulus dollars to implement. And I believe that these standards, quote unquote, are subpar standards. These are, as they call it, Common Core or common standards. And I hope that those of you here are investigating these quote unquote standards for our children to actually be implemented as well, I guess, next year in our schools. It is a one-size-fits-all set of standards that doubles, what I call doubling down on dumbing down our children. Control over education curriculum was supposed to be reserved to the states by the U.S. Constitution. And there are 3 actual federal laws that, as well, that prohibit the federal government from controlling curriculum in the states. There are 18 states so far that have either rejected Common Core or are making efforts to do so. Tennessee is not one of those. Several websites for you to go to, tnacc.weebly, weebly.com, and on Facebook, Parents for Truth in Education. Stop Common Core in Tennessee is also a Facebook page. tncore.org is that particular website you can go to read the Common Core curriculum. Thank you so much.
Ms. Henneberry, for the record, could you please provide us with your address?
Oh, I'm sorry, 3041 on Flagstone Drive in Franklin, Tennessee.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That concludes the public comment for this evening. Next item on the agenda is the superintendent's report. Dr. Looney?
Thank you, Madam Chair and board members. As you know, it's been a very active last several days. I'm glad to report tonight that the smell of smoke at Fairview Middle School as a result of what we believe to have been a lightning strike resulted in very minimal damage, and we are going to be able to have school there tomorrow with no problems. At this point in time, I would like to ask Mr. James Rometty to please come forward. James? Mrs. Anderson, if I could get you to join Mr. Rometty and take this with you. Oh.
Oh, wow.
Good evening, board members. My name is James Rometty. I'm the Director of Food Services, and I have the pleasure tonight of introducing to you our new first annual Gold Tray Award winners for our cafeterias. This is a new award we started this year. Ms. Anderson has the plaque here. It's a new award we started that we're honoring the actual cafeteria as a whole for certain criteria. And this is a plaque that will hang in the school for 1 school year until the next go-around. And where are they? Oh, here they are. Our first year was College Grove. We have Pam Cawthorn, the cafeteria manager. She's been with us for almost 19 years, and in 19 years only missed 2 days. And it wasn't even her fault for those 2 days. One of her staff members is Lisa Brannon. I always have a hard time saying that. College Grove is one of our little schools. They serve in about 150 meals a day. And it's a 2-man operation. They're out there every single day running just as well as the big schools do. And just very proud of them and what they do every single day. It's one of those schools that we can very much depend on every day, that they just run it without no assistance, no help from us. They're out there doing what they need to do every single day, taking care of these kids out there. So I am very pleased and honored to have them on my staff. And here they are, our first annual Gold Tray Award School. Are we doing pictures? Always doing pictures. Always doing pictures. Well, here, hold this first.
Ready? I'll take one more just for fun. 1, 2, 3. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations, ladies. And thank you, James. I'd like to give the board members and the public a little bit of an update on the legislative front. As you know, this is a very active time of year as it relates to education laws in Tennessee. Perhaps this week will be the single busiest week as it relates to the 80-some-odd education bills being debated in the House. There are a couple of bills that are of significance that you have taken positions on, and 2 of them relate specifically to your desire to maintain local control on the issue of vouchers and charters. Today, in addition to the legislative session that we had, the legislative forum that we had with our local delegation this morning, I had the opportunity to be in attendance with other superintendents across the state in a meeting with Governor Haslam and Commissioner Huffman On the voucher proposal, there, as you know, there are two. The governor's proposal is to allow vouchers in Memphis and in Davidson County up to 5,000 students. And that would not have a direct impact on Williamson County schools. However, Senator Gresham, who is the Senate Education Committee Chair, has a bill that would expand vouchers across the state for families earning less than $75,000. That bill runs counter to the position that you've taken to maintain local control on school vouchers. The lobbyists that the board has hired are working hard to make sure that you maintain local control. The second bill that is of interest to you is the statewide charter authorizer. There is movement on that bill this week. I honestly think it's too close to call, so I don't want to give a prediction, but simply stated, we're working to make sure that you maintain local decision-making power as to whether or not charter schools come to Williamson County. As you know, we do have one individual or entity that has given a letter of intent, and there's been some rumors of others to follow. We are making progress on the bill that Bill Squires drafted on behalf of the board, the High Performing School District Flexibility Act. That will be heard in both the House and the Senate Education Chambers this week. The bill has been received very, very well. We are working on some proposed amendments, or at least rumors of proposed amendments. We're working to make sure that that bill stays pure in its original form, if at all possible. And then the final bill that may be of interest to you is the homeschool extracurricular activities bill. I believe that bill stands a good chance of passing, and that would allow homeschool athletes the opportunity to try out for extracurricular activities or sports in Williamson County. So that's kind of what's happening on the legislative front. I'll be in Nashville tomorrow again for the superintendent's meeting, and then Wednesday will be a very important day on the Hill, and I'll be there in attendance for those committee hearings. That completes my report, and be glad to answer any questions you have.
I see none. We'll move on to the student spotlight. Ms. Birdsong. Thank you, Dr. Looney.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. It is competition season, and we are bringing home the hardware. So we are going to start actually with Fairview Middle School. A recipient, Trey Boone, our first student spotlight of the evening. Trey earned first place in the State Tennessee Association of Student Council's speech competition. His teacher is Mary Justice. And this was exciting. Our first place State Science Bowl winners from Summit High School, Josh Allen, Lauren Flater, Anthony Kupix, Camden McNeely, and Cass Roberts. Ryan Lowry is their coach. We have several state DECA winners. Seth Livingston from Franklin High School won in quick serve restaurant management. And Taylor Ware, also from Franklin High School, won in sports and entertainment marketing. Their teacher is Tanisha Hobson. Also representing Williamson County, Page High School, first place in the state DECA competition in advertising representatives and promotional campaign. Caleb Green, Dakota Love, and Abby Brooks. And Page also had another first place winner in entrepreneurship, innovation, business plan. Ryan Haugen, Taylor Elliott, and John Henry Ganser. And then finally, Savannah Fulmer, Page High School, won in food marketing. Their teacher is Jackie Stevens. In HOSA, Page High School again, Molly Hilliard and Nick Bianchi, first place in EMT. And also Page High School, Megan Lurdy, Peyton Wiggins, Carly Meek, and Allie Schwartz in public health emergency preparedness. Their teacher is Donna Ganeri. And Raven High School, Neiman Mann also won first place in extemporaneous speaking. Adrian Mayo is her teacher. And Summit High School, Faith Holmes, first place in medical terminology. Her teachers are Christina Isong and Denise Asbury. In the Tennessee High School Press Association Awards, I can honestly say that Williamson County swept the competition. So, Marshall Travoli from Brentwood High School won in Best Commercial. Brentwood had a lot of winners. Bear with me. Andrew Hughes, Hannah Fieldhacker, and Apricorn Burafat won for Best Public Service Announcement. Apricorn, Connor Holmes, Drew Brown won for Best Short Feature. And bunch of names here, but this was for Best Sports Coverage. And if you've ever seen one of their football games, you know why they won. A.B. Vorhaus, Chandler Butler, Andrew Hughes, DJ Moulton, Stephen Hart, Apricorn again, Cameron Pedley, Samantha Anderson, Rebecca Allen, Hannah Fieldhacker, Connor Holmes, Dakota Payne, Sarah Dunn, Jenna Red, Ben Sherrill, and Thomas Tatum. And not to be outdone in the Best Sports Show category, Josh Anderson, Zach Driver, Haley Craver, Chloe Connors, Elijah Gonzalez, Joey Guerrero, Hannah Fieldhacker. And last but not least, Best TV Station at Brentwood High School. Their teacher is Ronnie Adcock. But Independence High School also won an award for Best Reporting, Chase Lutz. And I just want to say Chase is our new intern for the communications department. We're proud to have him. His teacher is Matt Balzer. And Ravenwood brought home 2 awards. This is Chaz Oliver for Best Videographer, and Aaron Murtis and Chaz Oliver again for Best Video Online Media. Their teacher is Laura Faber. Ravenwood in athletics. We are celebrating wrestling. This is Taylor Stoll. She won in the state girls wrestling 138-pound division, and Taylor is just a freshman. And Jacob Freeman won in the boys wrestling 145-pound division. Their coach is Josh Peck. And we're also celebrating the arts tonight at Franklin High School. All-state band members, Sam Stubblefield and Hannah Cavender. Honor Band of America members, Sam Stubblefield, Colin Rubel, and Hannah Cavender. And last but not least, from Franklin High School, Brian Curl was selected to the Honor Orchestra of America. Their band director is David Adelot. One more art award. We talked about the National Scholastic Art Competition last month, but Charlotte here from Independence actually won the American Vision Award, which is a fabulous, fabulous honor. We're very proud for her. Stephanie Pruitt is her teacher. Now we're going to talk about some staff awards at Franklin High School. Kelly Sheets, Director of the Sociedad Honoraria Hispanica. Page High School, so excited for Laurie Malden because Laurie is representing our school district now in the state competition as she was named Tennessee Regional High School Teacher of the Year. So very proud for her. And over at Ravenwood, Cindy Howes, she was named Tennessee Association of Student Councils Advisor of the Year. And Pam Vaden, Tennessee Association of Student Councils Administrator of the Year, and Pam is the principal at Ravenwood High School. Congratulations to all of our student and staff spotlights.
Thank you, Ms. Birdsong. Next item on the agenda is the board's chairman's report. First thing I'd like to do is thank Officer Nikki Osborne, who was here last month, and I did not recognize her. I did not realize she was here until after we had adjourned the meeting, so I want to thank her for being here in February. I'd like to also congratulate the Brentwood High School basketball teams. The boys and the girls teams both had an outstanding season and made it, I believe, farther than they have ever in the history of the school, so I'd like to congratulate them. We have a number of principals and staff in the audience. I'd like to ask you to please stand and let us recognize you and welcome you. Thank you very much for being here. We appreciate your support and your attendance. I'd like to congratulate Mr. McLaughlin, who has welcomed a new granddaughter into the world last Friday. So congratulations to you and your family. hear that mom and baby are both doing well. We also have a group of scouts here this evening. Troop 130 from Barry's Chapel Church of Christ is here this evening, and these young men are working on their citizenship and the Community Merit Badge. And I happen to have a list of your names, so when I call your name, if you would please stand and let us see who you are. Nate Arend, Thomas Awad, Jack Charles, Joseph Clinton, Ryan Koch, Nathan Crease, Gabe Enlow, Carter Fulkerson, Hugh Hendricks, Elliot Johnson, Michael Nakraki, Sam Smith, John Slofig, and James Terrell. I thank you for being here this evening. And that concludes my report for this evening. And so we'll move on to new business. Item 4A1 is a financial request. It's the 2012-13 General Purpose School Fund Budget Amendment for Transportation. This information is located on page 33. Dr. Looney.
Thank you, Madam Chair and board members. I do recommend approval of this resolution for $275,000 so we can purchase appropriate amounts of gasoline and parts.
Would someone like to make a motion? So moved. Motion from Mr. Hullett. A second. Mr. Peterson? Is there any discussion? Mr. Welch, I need to apologize to you because I believe you had your button punched during the superintendent's report. Okay. Is there any other discussion about this motion? Are we ready to vote?
Your vote is 12 yes, 0 no.
Motion passes. Next item is 421. This is on page 34. It's intra-category transfer adjustment for athletic projects. Dr. Looney?
Thank you, Madam Chair and board members. As you may recall, we actually rebid the athletic projects for concession stands and restroom facilities at various campuses. The bids have come in much, much lower than they originally came in at, but we're still $60,000 short of being able to do what we need to do. We have some monies left over from previous projects. We'd like to transfer $60,000 so that we can proceed with the construction of those facilities.
Would someone like to make a motion? Motion from Ms. Hammond. Second from Mr. McLaughlin. Is there any discussion? Are we ready to vote?
Your vote is 12 yes, 0 no.
Motion passes. Next item is 431. This is the general purpose budget for the 2013-14 school year. This information begins on page 53. Dr. Looney?
Thank you, Madam Chair and board members. As you recall, we received specific guidance from the county commission as it relates to the budget. We've attempted to adhere to the guidance that we were provided. As you know, we're expecting student growth of about approximately 2.67%. And as a result of that growth, there is a need to hire some additional staff members and to have some additional funds. We are requesting that you approve a general purpose school fund budget of $260,658,669. This would allow us to retain $7,819,760 in reserve as required to get our budget approved by the state. Mrs. Holman is here to answer any additional questions you may have.
Would someone like to make a motion? Motion for Mr. Hullett. Second for Ms. Mills. Is there any discussion? Are we ready to vote?
Your vote is 12 yes, 0 no.
Motion passes. Next item is 432, the central cafeteria budget. This is on page 55. Dr. Looney?
Yes, ma'am. If I could take a moment of privilege, I would just like to announce that the budget that the school board just approved did include additional gifted teachers for the district. And I will say it's been a long journey. We've recognized that we need to make some improvements in that program area. I'd like to recommend approval for the central cafeteria fund of $11,084,482.
Someone like to make a motion? Motion for Mr. Gregory, second for Ms. Vogt. Is there any discussion? Are we ready to vote?
Your vote is 12 yes, 0 no.
Motion passes. Next item is 433, extended school program budget. This information is on page 58. Dr. Looney?
Thank you, Madam Chair and board members. As you're aware, this is a self-sustaining fund. The proposed budget is $1,826,298. I do recommend your approval as submitted.
Someone like to make a motion? Motion from Mr. Wimberly? Second. Second from Ms. Hammond. Is there any discussion? Are we ready to vote?
Your vote is 12 yes, 0 no.
Motion passes. Next item is 434. This is the capital outlay request. The information about this is behind page, tab 5. The detail is on the second page. Dr. Looney?
Thank you, Madam Chair and board members. This is the fourth and final budget for your consideration for the 2013-14 school year. We're proposing a $7,041,319 capital budget request.
Someone like to make a motion? Motion for Mr. McLaughlin. Second for Mr. Peterson. Is there any discussion? Are we ready to vote?
Your vote is 12 yes, 0 no.
Motion passes. Next item is open zone schools for 2013-14. This information is on page 59. And I will remind board members that when we approve the agenda, that we change the first line to say Page High School from any Williamson County school up to 25 students. Dr. Looney?
Thank you, Madam Chair and board members. I would like to preface my recommendation by thanking you. 3 years ago now, this board took a very bold step in that you approved the rezoning of the entire county, and I think the fact that we are not having to revisit the entire county rezoning speaks volumes for the decisions that you made. There is a need to try to relieve some overcapacity at the current time and to try to fill some underutilized capacity across the district. The staff and I both agree that the recommendations before you tonight will help accomplish that task. I do recommend your approval.
Would someone like to make a motion? Motion from Ms. Mills. Second from Mr. Hullett. Is there any discussion? Mr. McLaughlin?
I think it would be good if those was read so the public would know what open skill zones are available.
Okay. Page High School from any Williamson County school up to 25 students. Centennial High School from any Williamson County school up to 25 students, per our commitment during rezoning. Fairview High School from any Williamson County school up to 25 students. Heritage Middle School from Spring Station Middle School up to 50 students. Page Middle School from Spring Station Middle School up to 25 students. Edmondson Elementary School from Lipscomb Elementary School up to 40 students. Crockett Elementary School from Lipscomb Elementary School up to 20 students.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. Welch?
I had the same request as Tim. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other discussion before we vote? Are we ready to vote?
Your vote is 12 yes, 0 no.
Motion passes. Next item is on page 61. This is 4C. It's the textbook adoption. Dr. Looney?
Thank you, Madam Chair and board members. As you know, there's a state law that mandates how we go through the textbook adoption process. The teachers across the district have selected a new basal series, a reading series for the next several years. This is not a request to purchase. This is a request to adopt. The request to purchase is actually embedded in the budget that you've approved. So this is the adoption that we're recommending as a result of the teachers voting.
Someone like to make a motion? Motion from Mr. Welch.
Second.
Second from Ms. Vogt. Is there any discussion? Are we ready to vote?
Your vote is 12 yes, 0 no.
Motion passes. Next item is on page 65. This is 4D, recommendation for tenure. Dr. Looney?
Thank you, Madam Chair. It pleases me to report to you tonight that Coach Brian Rector is eligible for tenure status across the district. I do recommend that you approve such.
Someone like to make a motion? Motion for Mr. Welch, second for Ms. Vogt. Is there any discussion? Are we ready to vote?
Your vote is 12 yes, 0 no.
Motion passes. I'd like to congratulate Brian Rector on receiving tenure. We want to welcome him back to the district. That concludes the business before this body this evening. Are there any other announcements before we adjourn? Mr. Gregory?
Yes, I'd like to take an opportunity to thank D.L. Linscott for a very nice little painted rock. I think we all received one. It says, "Just Believe" on it. I'd like to read what's written on the back without my glasses, so be patient. Let's see. This rock was painted by a friend, a quadriplegic who paints with her mouth. The message inspires me. May it do the same for you. So I appreciate that. It's be a nice paperweight for my desk or an attention getter if necessary.
Thank you, Mr. Gregory. Are there any other announcements? I see none. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much for being here this evening.